As more information has come out on the Charlie Kirk shooting, there are some strange things surrounding it for sure. I like to wait a little bit till the event has happened. We've gathered the evidence to kind of put together what exactly is going on. I don't like to look at it, 5 minutes after it happened because, you want to get all the evidence. And now that we have time to look at the footage and everything going on, there are some strange things surrounding this for sure around Tyler Robinson. Some of the things that he did just make absolutely no sense that we'll look at in this video, like him taking apart his rifle like in what, 5 seconds and putting it in his backpack, jumping off the thing, and then going and reassembling the rifle and stashing it in the woods. If you're escaping a murder scene, why wouldn't you take the backpack with you? You've already gotten away. I mean, this is insane. So yeah, let's look at some of this evidence and get into this. What's up, Laura? Lost now found. Yes, I am back with the live stream right now. Good to see you guys. Angela and Mike's Media, God bless you guys. So yeah, let's look at some of this. So it appears, in my opinion now, after looking at some of this, that Tyler Robinson either had some sort of help, someone else was behind it, or at least that the FBI is maybe doing what a lot of law enforcement agencies seem to do in the past, where they just kind of like create the story. When they believe people will buy it, they put it out there and then they leave it at that because they don't want to look into it anymore. I guess they want other things to do, or just say, got another case under my belt. So it's like, it's weird that that happens, because it's like, come on, there's more here going on than what meets the eye. So this was one of the first things that I've seen, is that this video here looks like, sorry, I got to do one thing here. Looks like, look, there's a flash here, as we can see. So this was posted on I Trust the Science on Instagram. Muzzle flash from exactly the right angle behind Charlie. And again, another reason why I like to wait a little bit till we start like evaluating this is because Charlie for sure died, and that's terrible and a tragedy. But yeah, so this seems absolutely like the bullet to be caught on camera, coming from a direction considered for the second shooter. This 115H corner seems to be the most likely. So here we see an event, maybe, I don't know, but let's see. So this is what people are saying looks like another flash. This could just be a flash from somebody's whatever screen or something like that. Hard to say exactly, but you can see a flash there. Not for sure. And again, I'm pretty sure those people around it, which it looks like people there, would be freaking out over the situation. So not saying that, but putting forth the information, just going to put forth some stuff in this that I'm not for sure believing. But this video of Joe Rogan talking about some of the stuff surrounding this, it just doesn't make sense when you look at the bigger picture about what happened, about how this all unfolded. And sorry, there might be some language in this video, so be on alert for that. AMBK, God bless you. Nice to see you. All right, so yeah, let's take a listen here.
This kid had a rifle with a scope. Now here's where it gets weird.
Sorry, gotta wait for the ad. So yeah, that is what's weird about this. The video, and you'll see the rifle here. Supposedly this is a World War II rifle that his grandpa had, and then when you look at it, it's a modern rifle. So that's not adding up. That's for sure a mistake by the FBI somewhere there.
This rifle with a scope. I swear to God, it looks like he has a composite stock on it. Like it looks like a modern 30-06 rifle. So a 30-06, so that's the rifle.
You'll see the image here.
It's like, that looks like a very modern looking stock.
Yeah, that's not a World War II rifle that your grandpa had. And that's also not a rifle that you can take apart in 5 seconds and shove back in your backpack. It kind of looks like it might have a folding stock, but honestly, if it did, that barrel would still be sticking way out of his backpack when he jumped off of the roof. And not only that, but he jumps off this roof here, and that's the only video that we've seen of this guy. Those college campuses have cameras everywhere. And not to mention anybody around any other building, they all have Ring cameras. Where's all this footage of this guy on the roof? All we have is him running and then jumping off the roof and somehow disassembling a rifle in like 5 seconds. It's not adding up.
I mean, it might not be. It might be just a bad resolution. It might be wood. It's hard to tell. But if you showed me that and you said, hey, this is my cousin's rifle, is this any good? I'd be like, looks like a standard bolt action rifle, looks like a sophisticated modern scope on it. Sure. Now, apparently, the narrative is that this is his grandfather's rifle from World War I and doesn't have a serial code. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay, why? Wait. Why are you using such an old gun? Like, that's kind of crazy. Like, is it possible that an old gun can be that accurate? If you have a gunsmith and they work on it, yeah, it's totally possible. You have a really good gunsmith and he sets. If you're like a nostalgic person, you like driving an old car, you can bring it to a mechanic. They could redo the brakes.
Sure.
So if you had a good gunsmith and he took a look at that and the action was true and the bore is good, yeah, you could conceivably shoot with a gun for hundreds of years, right? Guns don't necessarily go bad.
Right. They don't expire.
Yeah, guns don't go bad. This argument doesn't really make sense. I mean, you could have an old gun with a scope on it, and if you practice enough, anybody could make that shot. 200 yards, you practice enough, that's a fairly easy shot. So that doesn't make sense. But the fact that that's a World War I gun, and then the picture the FBI puts out is literally a modern rifle that you'd go find at any sportsman's warehouse down, at any local sportsman's shop. I mean, why are they saying that? Doesn't make sense.
Right. And especially because all the stuff like the trigger and the action and all that different stuff is replaceable. So you can just it's compartmentalized. It's components. That's the other thing. They said that he took it apart and then put it back together again.
Sorry, I'm pretty sure you cussed there, cut it out.
Do that if you were
there's no way
highly
that
skilled?
happened.
To disassemble a gun.
To disassemble a rifle so that you can get it in a backpack. And by the way, not going to fit. Not going to fit.
In a backpack.
And then somehow or another reconnects it once he gets off the roof. What? What's
And
that
Dad
about?
stashes it in the woods.
Yeah. Here's the other problem. If
Makes
you
no
shoot
sense.
something, okay, like say if I take you to a long range shooting range and we sit there and we get you on a bench.
He goes on this thing and then he realizes he was wrong in what he said here and corrects himself. But that's honestly the biggest thing here. And then here on Redacted, they got into it a little more also, that it just doesn't make any sense that he would be on the roof, use this rifle that's not a World War I rifle, take it apart in just a couple seconds, put it in your backpack, it'd be sticking out. Where's the footage of the other footage of him running on the roof? And then reassemble it on the ground and stash it in the woods with fingerprints on it and it connected to your grandpa's rifle. That doesn't make sense. Why is the FBI hiding that information? Why are they covering that up and giving us this bogus story? What's going on here?
All over this story, millions of people watching his coverage of this, and we want to kind of walk through this entire new timeline here and discuss what we have here. Ryan, welcome back to the show. Great to see you, my friend.
Always an honor, Clayton. Thanks for having me, and Natalie.
All right, so let's start off. Maybe we can kind of contextualize some of the official story here and where this is sort of falling apart. I mean, we can literally just go like right to the roof, right, and the running on the rooftops.
Yeah, absolutely, Clayton. So the video you guys are watching here is of the FBI video. Now, this comes directly from the FBI's official YouTube channel, so we know it's legit. It was given to us by the FBI. And if you notice the timestamp there in the top left, when that timestamp started, when the video actually first started there, it was at 12:23.34. So it takes him roughly approximately 14 to 16 seconds to get exactly into that position, which would be 12:23:50. Now, when we started to analyze this footage, it was Blake Bednarz who just first broke this footage, and he sent me this video, and he goes, "Listen, look at man." He goes, "From this CCTV video, from where the FBI is showing us here, you could actually see the sniper's prone position. So when they first zoomed out on that footage when it very first started, you could actually see the position where Tyler would have quote unquote been laying on that roof." And it was Blake who sent me the footage originally. And he goes, "Hey man," he goes, "check this out in the cafeteria view." So if you switch to the cafeteria view, you can actually see the man running across the roof, right? Really slow motion. You clearly see somebody moving across that roof. Okay, now the question is, when was he running? Now there's another video I sent your team, and it's actually, you're gonna start to see the crowd here. You're gonna see the crowd, and the crowd's gonna start to crouch down, okay? So if we put that into this slow motion feed that I sent you, and we scrub back and forth, you're gonna see the crowd go up and down, up and down, up and down, right there. See how it goes? So you can see the crowd actually getting ready to sit down, and you move it
Right,
back
and he's
forth.
already running. And he's already running if you look at the rooftop.
He's already running with a rifle he already disassembled. What is going on? That makes literally no sense. And the FBI needs to explain that. How come he didn't have a rifle? He's running with the rifle. He disassembles it. I mean, that footage again is so bad. That stock kind of looks like it might be folding stock. Maybe he put it in his backpack, but again, it would be sticking out. And even then, the pictures that the FBI released, right when it happened, and even now they're saying it was Tyler coming up the stairs, walking with his backpack, and there's no rifle barrel sticking out of his backpack. That barrel would be sticking way out of that backpack, even without the stock or anything on. Even with it completely disassembled and it just the metal barrel, that would still be sticking out of that backpack. So what's going on?
Bingo, right? So then we went out to the outside footage, and I said, okay, I'm gonna put this in my computer, and I'm gonna press play at the 8-second mark of this random clip I had on my computer. And when you press play and you hear bang, as soon as you press play, and then I go, okay, I'm gonna stop the video immediately when the crowd actually is fully set down, and it's 3 seconds.
They
Clayton.
don't show it here, so
that
don't
tells
worry.
you that from when that shot was fired, whoever was on that roof was in a full sprint within 3 seconds of Charlie Kirk being shot. That man on the
100%. I mean, that, no pun intended, that's a smoking gun on this whole issue, that something is not adding up here. Edward, thanks for the super chat. God bless you, man. So what's going on? And I don't know who's behind it. One thing that I can say for sure, doesn't make any sense for Israel, a foreign ally, even if they disagree or Charlie was starting to change his narrative a little bit on it, which I think the majority of people, even myself, are saying, should Israel really just completely be blanket bombing all Gaza and just killing everybody there? Does God want that? I don't think so. Charlie was pretty much saying the same thing. Not going to get into Israel thing, but just the fact that it doesn't make sense for a foreign ally to do that on American soil at a public event. I mean, there's people who are way more critical of Israel and they're like, why aren't they taking them out? Doesn't make sense. But who is behind it? Why is that? Was there multiple shooters? Were multiple people involved? Why is it that the fact that literally the second that this shot was fired and people are ducking, we see Tyler or whoever running on the roof and the gun's already disassembled. So all of that, this isn't adding up. We need answers on what exactly happened to Charlie, because you can see the footage. He was killed. Charlie was killed. It's terrible. God's turning that evil for good. But we need the answers on the truth on exactly what happened here.
The roof was sprinting literally before the people that were outside could even realize that Charlie's been hit. I mean, he got shot right in front of them, and it takes them 2 or 3 seconds to go, oh crap, he's been hit. And they all start to go, all duck down at the same time. And that's how we know exactly when that person was running across the roof. So that was kind of like the first thing we kind of started to discuss when I was talking to you earlier was like,
can I just stop you there? Because this tracks
absolutely.
with other independent reporting from Candace Owens. She tracked down the person who had filmed prior to the event saying, look, there's weird. That's a guy on the roof. That's strange. The person that they said they saw was in tactical gear with a different gun. That's what they told Candace Owens. And then the FBI says this guy was in plain clothes. So it would track that there's a discrepancy between that. And then one other thing that's always bothered me about that official FBI running across the roof is that if people duck immediately after and scream, we've heard the screams in the crowd, why are the people walking behind that building walking so casually? They would presumably have heard a scream and commotion just around that corner. So what do you think of those two bits?
Yeah, I'll start with the screams. You're talking about when the FBI shows us that video, there's just
So, with the screams, there's a potential that somebody, you can see them walking in the distance here off on the right. People are calmly walking. There's a possibility at a public event like that, if they just heard screams and a loud thing, they would still walk. They wouldn't just instantly start running. But what really makes no sense in all this is the timeline. Where's the rifle? Why is he already in a full sprint the second the shot rings off? He definitely didn't take that shot standing. They say he was prone. And then where's this other stuff? What exactly happened here? Where's the rifle? Where's the person? I don't know for sure. What I do know is that something is not adding up in this entire story. And that's for absolutely certain. I do not agree with much of Candace's reporting on this. I do think that she's honestly been grifting a little bit on his death here. And I think that that's not good at all to do. Sad to see, especially when she wasn't even friends with Charlie the past few years, didn't go to his vigil. And then now she just wants to talk all the time about what exactly happened to Charlie. Kind of weird. But I do want to show this because she talks about how there's some footage has come out of what looks to be a underground tunnel or something, a trap door underneath Charlie. Doesn't make sense to me that he was shot from the underground, but we should look at everything and we'll take a look at this here.
Massive pipeline that was almost exactly behind where Charlie was sitting. Here's that maybe it's a water pipeline. I don't know, but there it is under the flag. And to your right, I went into my tips line and I saw that somebody had messaged me about this. More than one person messaged me about this. They're like, hey, yeah, there's like a whole underground thing there. And to your right, you're observing those 2 little boxes. And they told me that was a trap door. Now, I'm not implying someone, popped up and shot Charlie, but that's a close up of that area. I'm just implying that there's an entire underground there.
So it is weird. It's an underground. That footage or that picture there is taken from a little bit away. At first, it looks like that could just fit like a tent post or something, but a person could fit underneath it. But I mean, when you see the footage, it's pretty clear. Charlie was hit, and the way he was hit was from, pretty straight on, in my opinion, with the way that the blood and everything else happened after that. So, this is interesting that that's going on. All things should be looked at. But yeah, I completely agree. Candace Owens, who I used to like, has completely gone off the tracks here big time. And just to say, for me also, I want to say, I don't go down to me, I don't like to go all the way down the conspiracy pipeline and think that now Charlie Kirk's off on an island somewhere drinking, drinking alcoholic beverages with Jeffrey Epstein. That's not real, in my opinion, at all. You can believe that if you want, but the evidence shows for what it is. Charlie was tragically murdered here, and God has turned this for good. And honestly, if this was a planned thing, or they knew it was happening, or other shooters were involved, or for some reason someone wanted to take out Charlie, it massively backfired. A lot more people are going to church. A lot more people are believing the Bible, looking at what he said, following, and realizing that for sure, no political party is perfect in America, but undeniable that the left wing, and especially far left, is 100% doctrines of demons. And that's been exposed like to the full now. So they massively backfired again with that. If that, whoever did it, whether just all we can say at the very least, Satan behind trying to take him out, 100% backfired, 100%. Yeah, big time. This was kind of strange. Thought worth adding to this video as we're trying to figure out exactly what happened to Charlie, why, and who did it, and who was involved. This guy here at the event, somebody walking around, and as you can see, it's just odd. He's walking, somebody filming. This was before, or I think this might have been after it happened. This guy with his badge, and then someone with a camera goes up to him, and he just decides to hide it. Kind of strange. I mean, if he actually cares, why is he walking around with it? I don't know, but what I do know is that we need more information on what happened. I discussed this a little bit before this post here. Social media posts under investigation as people seem to know about Charlie Kirk's murder before it happened. And this person, Mushy Donald Trump, December 14th, they mentioned that about Donald, and then said it'd be funny if Charlie Kirk got shot on September 10th. That was posted on September 3rd. This person, Omar, I mentioned them on my first stream about it. Charlie Kirk is coming to my college tomorrow. I really hope someone evaporates him. Literally 1 day ago, it said that, let's just say something big will happen tomorrow. This person, well, that's it, you guys. I have something big coming soon. I'd just be sure to check the news. You'll know it when you see it. Gulp, another chud bites the dust. Interesting. These people should be investigated. What's happening? All I know for sure is that the narrative of Charlie being taken out by Tyler and Tyler alone, and that footage somehow made sense of him running when the rifle was already shot. That doesn't make any sense. And again, what we've seen, if you watch the vigil, so many people coming to believe in Jesus through this event. The evil of Charlie being taken out by whoever did it is actually turning around for a massive victory for believing in small government, believing in the truth of the Bible, believing that these doctrines of demons that are being taught specifically by one side of the political party in America has to turn around and has to stop. It backfired on them, the people who believe those things, massively. And as we can see, just like at his vigil, the whole thing was a worship and prayer event mainly. And then on the bottom, we can see what happens when someone on the left, like George, passes away. I'm not saying that was right by any means, but the actions of them turning, attacking people, burning down cities, hurting people, attacking homeless people. I mean, it's undeniable that one side is very clearly believing and following the doctrines of demons. In the process, we need to know the truth. What exactly happened to Charlie? Let's expose it as we see it, because what they're telling us for sure isn't the truth. We need to know what happened. Thank you guys for hopping on the chat here. Wanted to get this video out there. Crazy stuff going on, but we want the truth. Let's continue to expose the evil works of darkness and to believe the truth of the gospel. Share that above everything else, because that's the saving power that will bring you into eternity with the Lord Jesus. He died for our sins. He rose again 3 days later. Believe that, follow that, and in the process also resist evil and expose the unfruitful works of darkness. Pray that for all you guys. Let's follow the Lord Jesus in these times we're in and spread his truth above everything else. God bless you guys.